Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
Hello everyone, let me welcome you to yet another lesson in English for standard 8th through the virtual class. The name of the lesson is The Pilgrim. And let me reintroduce myself. My name is Shraddha teacher, and I will be teaching you English as well as social studies here through the virtual class. Okay, so now let us, without discussing too much about anything else, let us proceed now and let us talk about this particular poem. The name of the poem is The Pilgrim. So now, who are pilgrims? Let us look at the meaning of the name of the lesson. So pilgrims, children, are people who embark on a journey in order to fulfill some religious, you can say, customs. Okay. For example, here you can see people carrying different kind of musical instruments, and they're carrying the tulsi plant or the basil plant, which is supposed to be the holy plant, and they are going to visit a kind of a temple, you can say, or to a holy place. Alright, so pilgrims are all these people. So they are not just tourists who go to see a place for the sake of entertainment, but they are a special kind of tourist who visit a place in order to follow some religious customs. Alright, so that is the meaning of the pilgrim. So all these people that you can see on the screen today, they are all pilgrims. Now let us look at the pilgrim in our poem today. So the pilgrim in our poem is an old man who has gone somewhere and now he is returning home. Okay, so this is the poem for us, and this poem is written by a person. They've written that it is anonymous. That means we do not know who is the poet of this particular work. Alright, so now as I proceed to read the poem and explain it to you, I will also try to show you some important or some relevant pictures along with it. So The Pilgrim is the name of our poem. So the pilgrim, going on a lone highway, came at evening, cold and grey, to a chasm deep and vast and wide. The old man crossed in twilight dim. The chasm held no fear for him. But when he paused, when he reached the other side, and built a bridge to span the tide. So what are we talking about? This is the first few lines of this poem. So the pilgrim, he was going a lone highway. That is, he was going someplace and the road and the path was very lonely. Okay, and in the evening he came to a place where there was a deep chasm. Now what is a chasm? Look at the image of the arrow on your screen, children. Can you see this particular image? Look at it carefully. What can you see? It is a chasm, isn't it? That is, it is a very deep place, and it is difficult for someone who doesn't have knowledge and doesn't have experience to cross this chasm. So what did the man do? And it was twilight dim also. That is, the light was also not very good. But this pilgrim, this old man, he was very experienced in going through that way again and again. So what did he do? He paused. He crossed the chasm and he paused when he reached the other side, and then he decided that, come on now, let me build a bridge in order to cross this chasm, or in order to help others to cross this chasm. So that is the first few lines of the poem. Let's move on and see what happened later. So old man set a fellow pilgrim near. So there was a young pilgrim, a fellow pilgrim who was traveling with him. He said, old man, why waste your time in building here? Okay, He's saying this is not your house, this is not the place where you live, and you're not going to stay here forever. So why are you wasting your time in building this bridge? Your journey ends with the close of the day. He's saying you're old and very soon you will be leaving this world. The journey of your life will end. You will never pass this way again. You never again will pass this way. That is, you're never again going to come. You are not physically strong enough to go so far away again and come back. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build ye here at eventide? He's saying, why are you trying to build a bridge? Because this bridge is going to be of no use to you. Now children, you might have heard of a story where we hear that a lady was traveling in a bus, and as she was traveling along, she was eating some fruits, and she was throwing the seeds of the fruit along the way. And when someone questioned her, she said that I may never pass this way again, but these fruits or these trees, these seeds, they will grow into trees and they will provide shade, they will provide you can say shelter for the birds, and also they will provide fruit also to the hungry. I may not be able to enjoy it, but someone who comes along the way might be able to. So the meaning of this particular poem also, children, is very close to that story. Okay, so now this young man, he's questioning this old man, and he's asking him, why are you wasting your time in building this bridge and all your efforts also? So let us see what the old man has to reply. So the pilgrim raised his old grey head. Grey head means he's an old man, and old grey head means head which is full of grey hair. My friend, in the path I have come, he said, there followeth after me today a fair-haired youth who must pass this way. He said that I have crossed this path many a times, but the person who's coming behind me, a fair-headed, means a young person, he will also follow my path. He will also come and walk on the same path or the same way. The chasm which held no fears for me, to the fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He's saying, now this, I know how to cross this chasm. I have good experience in doing that. But the person who's coming behind me, he might not know how to cross this, and it may be a pitfall. A pitfall means what? A major accident in his life, which might cause him a lot of loss. He too must cross in twilight dim. My friend, I'm building this bridge for him. And you can see how the young man who had questioned him becomes very embarrassed, and he really feels that, oh my God, I have been so selfish. And look at this old man, he's thinking so much about the others. He's not going to derive any benefit from building this bridge, but he's thinking only about the people who are going to follow him. So there is a moral to be learned in this lesson. Sometimes you should do deeds which might not give you or reap you any benefits, but it will surely help people who will follow, or surely help people who are part of your circle. Okay, so that is about this particular poem, The Pilgrim. So now children, whenever we do a poem, what we do is we try and read the poem, we try and understand the meaning of the poem, and also we try to do some exercises which are part of the lesson. So let's see, in this particular poem you have inversion, which is a figure of speech, okay, in the exercises, and you have many others also. We will not be able to cover all of them in this 15-minute slot. So we will look at inversion and we will look at tautology today. Alright, these are the two figures of speech. Now let me tell you children, what are figures of speech? Figures of speech are certain tools in language which are used specially in poetry. Okay, so let us look at the first one, that is inversion. So what is the meaning of inversion? Inversion is also known as anastrophe. Okay, it means you are inversing, or you are changing the normal order of the words just for poetic effect. Now you know poets, they use a lot of liberty as far as language is concerned, isn't it? Sometimes they use words which we have never heard of and words which do not exist in the dictionary also. These kind of things are called as poetic liberties. Okay, to make the poem more attractive, to make the poem more interesting, they may use these kind of tools. One of them is the inversion, which is part of the figure of speech. Now, the inversion is also known by one more name I told you, and that is the anastrophe. Okay, now let us look at some examples. The strong soldier, you say sometimes, but here what is the sentence? What is the phrase? It is the soldier strong. Okay, so the noun comes actually after the adjective, but in this particular case, since it is an example of inversion, you will see that the noun is coming before the adjective. Then you have worlds between. Alright, so it should be between worlds, but here it is worlds between. Even on the cup, which is given here on the screen for you, you have an example of inversion. In vain I have struggled. So how will you rephrase it? You will write it as I have struggled in vain. Okay children, so this was about inversion. Let us look at a few more examples as we go along. So see, to the sea she went. So we can say she went to the sea. Without smiling they parted. They parted without smiling. Then came the thunder. The thunder came then. Out she went. She went out. Fear she felt. She felt fear. Okay, so these are all examples of inversion or anastrophe as we call them. Let us look at two more examples. So look at the normal sentence, how it is written, and how it is written when we use the figure of speech, inversion. He reacts so quickly that no one can match him. This is how a normal sentence is written. Look at how the tool of inversion is used. So quickly does he react that no one can match him. Okay. Next example. They are such wonderful players, no one can beat them. Such wonderful players are they that no one can beat them. Alright children. So these are a few examples of inversion for you. Now we have just a couple of minutes left into the lesson. Let us quickly look at what is a tautology. Tautology is a very simple concept where unnecessary repetition of an idea is done. Unnecessarily, without any need, you repeat an idea. Sometimes you use different words to repeat an idea. Look at the examples here. A good looking, beautiful woman. There is no need for you to say a good looking as well as beautiful. If you just say a good looking woman, or you could say a beautiful woman. Okay, so this is an example of tautology. Now people who use this kind of language, people who unnecessarily repeat ideas, are said to be weak in that particular language. Okay, now look at the second example here. A round circle. Now a circle itself means something which is round. So a round circle means there is no need to say that. Okay, a big giant. So giants are always big. You will never see a small tiny giant. A widow woman. Now a woman who's lost her husband is called a widow, whereas a man who loses his wife is called as a widower. So when you say a widow, you need not specify that she is a woman. Alright? See? Armed gunman. You need not say armed gunman. So he's already has a gun with him. That means he's armed. Alright? Single bachelor. Now a bachelor means someone who's not married. That means he's single. Depreciate in value. So it is the value of things which depreciates. So you need not say depreciate in value. Okay? So this is tautology. Examples of tautology. Needless repetition of a single concept. See here? The Gobi is a dry desert. Why do you need to say dry when you're saying desert? Deserts are dry places. And look at this. If it's in stock, we have it. So when you have it, it means it is in stock. And if it is in stock, it means we have it. Alright, so there is no need to repeat this. So children, this was about the poem The Pilgrim. We read the poem. I tried and explained the poem to you. We also looked at the two figures of speech which were part of the exercises in the poem. That is, we looked at inversion and we looked at tautology. That is all for today, children. Thank you so much.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.